Dr. Swamy, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, and he is going to talk to us about this mail trail. Over to you, Payal.
Well, firstly, congratulations again, Shravan and Prema, both of you, we've been watching this particular broadcast. And, Dr. Subramanian Swamy has been watching it more keenly than anybody else because, obviously he's been someone who's been pursuing this case very aggressively. You've seen what, so far we had heard that Shashi Tharoor was very, very keen on influencing the likes of Dr. Sudhir Gupta, to ensure that this whole poisoning theory doesn't really happen. But from what you've seen, clearly, he was not even shy of trying to seek some other private opinion as well. How would you explain what you've really just seen, in terms of our expose, and brilliant job being done by our colleagues Prema as well as Shravan?
Yeah, I congratulate you ladies for having not given up after the rather demoralizing judgment of the Delhi High Court. I must say to you that I'm not going to leave that unchallenged. I've already filed a petition in the Supreme Court called the Special Leave Petition, which is scheduled by the computer of the Supreme Court to be on the 23rd of January. This material that you have got is going to be very useful for me for furthering my arguments in the Supreme Court.
So before we ask him another question, Arnab and Prema, the big news that we have right now is that Subramanian Swamy has filed an SLP in the Supreme Court, challenging, what he felt was wrongly done in the High Court. The High Court verdict is being challenged, and at the same time, and more importantly, Prema, the emails that have been put out right now by us is something which is going to be a part of Dr. Swamy's petition, which he files and which comes up for hearing on the 23rd of January 2018. Well, again, back to the entire detail and the entire story. So how do you see this? It seems that they were not scared and they were not worried about trying whatever they could in their might to influence this particular program.
It is brazen and it's a violation of the law of basically trying to tamper with the investigation. There are sections on it. But first let me tell you about Chandrasekharan. He's from Tamil Nadu, so I know of him very well. I've met him also. He's a person who would never give an opinion unless he's paid for it. So like paid legal opinions, these are basically only to help you prepare a defense. They cannot be used as evidence for an investigation. So to try and circulate that and make it a basis for cowing down the police, Delhi police, that itself is a violation of the law. They should have made it very clear that this Chandrasekharan is not an independent opinion, it's a paid opinion. Secondly, what was the necessity? I mean, this is not the first time he's doing this. When Sunanda was being post-mortem examination was taking place, he took a room falsely claiming that he had heart palpitation. And they did test him and said there's nothing of the kind. But during that time, he sent emails to the director of the All India Medical Institute. He sent emails to various other authorities, Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad, etc., who was the health minister during that period, and tried to influence, saying that this way you can say it's a normal death, it's a natural death. So his whole effort has been from day one to try and tamper with the investigation, and therefore in this particular thing that you have made, it's a breakthrough. And it's a major breakthrough.
But Shashi Tharoor, so far, whenever question ever put anywhere, he says that, his name is falsely being dragged, there's agenda against him. But these are his friends, inverted commas, all of these people, whether it is Rajshekharan or whether it is, Rajan Rao in the past, all of these are his friends. And there is some link which clearly proves that, they were trying to help Shashi Tharoor out. Shashi Tharoor has been seeking help from them. And none of this really can be denied, even though you can see all of them really running away from Republic TV's cameras, when they were confronted with the facts.
Well, this is not an ordinary murder. I must tell you, it spans across parties. There is no party which is not nervous about this investigation. And therefore, the fact that your channel is at it is a feather in your cap. And we must not let it go. Because if Sunanda's murder goes without a final conclusion for justice, then no woman is going to be safe. And that is the word of mouth that will be spread. Speak and then you will see what happens. A minister's wife in a 7-star hotel gets killed and nothing happens. this would be a very bad message to send in the society. So therefore, I think you must understand that all this is because the stakes are very high. Many heads will roll, not only Mr. Shashi Tharoor's, but many others. And they are all very nervous about it, and they are trying ways and means.
Systematic way of pushing this entire theory. First, of course, it was selectively released, and then it was leaked into the media, and all of that. It was done through a design. Yes. I mean, there's no denying of that. And like you're saying, that this was not an opinion which was sought officially. Yes. Any opinion sought officially, there would have been, yes, probably a mail trail or some sort of a trail to it. But none of this is there. It is just being sent. And Shashi Tharoor himself is not the investigating authority. Why on earth would he ask somebody to give a private opinion?
Yes, why would he not want to know the truth about his wife's death? Why would he say, no, close the whole thing because it's a natural death, etc., when the autopsy says that it is unnatural death due to poisoning? And that's the opinion given 4 different times by the All India Medical Institute, which is the only authorized body according to the Delhi administration and the Lieutenant Governor. They are the only one designated to do the autopsy for this part of the country. So therefore, the fact that he is finding ways, means, sending SMSs, etc. to various people, all this adds up to only one thing, that he is guilty as hell and he should be again questioned. I'm told that despite the Delhi High Court judgment, the Delhi police is at it. It's gone a little further on the psychological examination as they claimed. But the status report has still not been acted on. In fact, Delhi police said they would decide by 30th November. They have not done that. I'll make that an issue in the Supreme Court.
So you're talking about psychological, tests, etc. So who is it that you're referring to? What is it that you know? Because, it seems that you know more than what everybody else knows.
Well, yes, it is. This psychological thing is putting you through a great deal of pressure without administering drugs. And in the process, you start contradicting yourself, because if you're guilty, you have webbed out a web of lies, and these web of lies are never consistent. And I do know that Mr. Tharoor has been examined once on that, but now more evidence is another factor. And there are other people.
So would you know when this really happened? Because this is extremely, extremely important as far as this case is concerned. A lot of question mark over the conduct of the Delhi police as well. When would you know? Because you're saying that the report is going to be out soon, the report is going to be given up. So when was Shashi Tharoor subjected to this investigation?
I don't know the date, because that would be difficult for me to ask. You see, I can't inquire. It would be improper. But when they themselves tell me...
This was right after the High Court shut down.
Yes, the Delhi police has decided. They held a meeting. Now that the petition has been dismissed. Now, there was something extraordinary about the judgment of the Delhi High Court. 5 sessions of the Delhi High Court had taken place, and the court had said very clearly, we are only investigating in a speedy conclusion of the investigation. What your accusations are, what your theories are, we are not going to go into it. That's a later matter. But only thing we are concerned with. Yet the judge, ignoring the judgments of the past time, he asked me, why you have not led evidence?
Well, that is Dr. Subramanian Swamy is exclusively talking to Payal Mehta on our expose today. Dr. Swamy making a couple of important points. Number one, he's saying that Shashi Tharoor was perhaps subjected to a psychological test. We don't know when this happened, but Dr. Swamy is saying that. And then, of course, Dr. Subramanian Swamy also telling us that he has filed an